Welcome to Gray Matter Reports. Today, we decode the complex reality of events that unfold around us. The room was dim, the air thick with an unshakable tension. Shadows danced across the sterile walls, flickering like the passing thoughts of a restless mind. An individual sat in the corner, eyes vacant yet observant, ensnared in the web of their own psyche. Here lay the first threads of an intricate narrative, one woven from the duality of rationality and darkness. A clinical gaze dissected the subject's profile. Rationality, often celebrated as the pinnacle of human thought, here twisted into a double-edged sword. It was a weapon turned against the very society that nurtured it. The mind, a labyrinth of logic and emotion, held secrets deeper than the surface could betray. Each calculated decision was a step further into the abyss, where moral compasses failed and ethical boundaries blurred. Biological evidence stood as silent witnesses to the unraveling story. Scans of the brain illuminated areas of heightened activity, suggesting a dissonance between thought and feeling. Neural pathways lit up, firing in ways that defied conventional understanding. It was as if the mind compartmentalized itself, creating a dichotomy, the rational planner and the emotional void. Here the narrative thickened, where empathy was a mere ghost, haunting the edges of a fractured identity. In moments of reflection, the individual's thoughts spiraled into an intricate dance of logic. Choices appeared calculated, devoid of the weight of consequence. Each action, meticulously planned, unfolded like a chilling script, devoid of empathy yet rich in strategy. It was a clinical execution of intent, where the human experience was reduced to mere variables in a grand equation. Yet, beneath this veneer of control lay an unsettling truth. The grip of dark rationality tightened, constricting any remnants of connection to the world outside. This was not madness, it was a chilling clarity, a cold assessment of reality where the lines of right and wrong faded into obscurity. The mind was not lost, it was simply restructured, a new architecture built upon the ruins of conventional morality. In the silence, one could almost hear the echo of choices made, each one a ripple in a vast ocean of consequence. The narrative spun forward, drawing the viewer into a realm where the invisible threads of rationality and darkness intertwined. This was the story of dual minds, an exploration of the unseen forces that shape our understanding of humanity and the invisible grip that binds logic to the shadows. Here, even in the stark light of reason, darkness found its home. A flicker of movement caught the detective's eye. In the dim light of the interrogation room, the individual sat, a study in contradictions. Calm yet unpredictable, the subject radiated an air of composure that felt almost disconcerting. The behavior was telling. It was the first sign of an antisocial profile, one that manipulated the boundaries of rationality. The detective leaned forward, scrutinizing the subject. Each word spoken was measured, calculated. This was a mind that thrived on duality, a space where logic intertwined with a chilling detachment. Every response seemed rehearsed, yet spontaneous, revealing layers beneath the surface. The subject's gaze was steady, a mirror reflecting an unsettling clarity. "Tell me about your childhood," the detective prompted, aware that the past often holds the keys to understanding the present. The subject smiled, a gesture devoid of warmth. "It was normal," came the reply, but the tone suggested otherwise. It was a clinical detachment, a protective shell built from experiences that had long been buried. The detective noted every detail. The subtle twitches, the way the subject's smile faltered when discussing familial relationships. These were the threads of a complex tapestry woven with threads of isolation and manipulation. The individual's mind operated like a finely tuned machine, yet beneath the surface lay a chasm of disconnection. As the conversation deepened, the subject revealed a fascination with control. It was a theme that echoed throughout the session. The detective understood the implications. This fixation was not merely about power. It was about the ability to orchestrate chaos while maintaining an invisible grip on the narrative. The subject's rationality appeared as a tool, wielded with precision. Each anecdote shared was laced with a chilling understanding of human nature. "People are predictable," the individual stated matter-of-factly. The detective felt a shiver. This wasn't mere observation. It was an unsettling revelation of an underlying philosophy that justified the subject's actions. Time ebbed and flowed, the clock ticking in sync with the mounting tension. The detective noted the biological evidence of anxiety, a slight bead of sweat forming on the subject's brow as the conversation delved deeper. It was a moment of vulnerability, a fleeting crack in the armored facade. Yet it was quickly masked. The individual resumed composure, a disarming smile returning. In that instant, the detective recognized the dance of duality. This was not just a case, it was an exploration of the invisible grip of dark rationality, a mind that thrived in shadows yet craved the light of understanding. The session concluded, but the unease lingered. The detective left with more questions than answers, grappling with the complex interplay of reason and emotion that defined the individual before them. It was a reminder that the line between order and chaos is often blurred, a haunting reality that echoes in the corridors of criminal psychology. The mind is a labyrinth, intricate and treacherous. Within its depths lies a psychological bridge, connecting the rational and the irrational. Here, two worlds collide, the conscious thought of societal norms and the subconscious pull of dark rationality. This bridge is not visible, yet it is felt, a silent architecture of human behavior. Consider the individual whose life unfurls in the shadows. Underneath a facade of normalcy, a complex interplay of motivations and desires brews. The antisocial profile often reveals a calculated detachment. Emotions are dulled, yet the intellect sharpens, honing in on the minutiae of human interaction. It's a curious dance. The individual observes, learns, and adapts. But behind those keen eyes lies a void, a chasm where empathy should reside. Imagine the mind as a vast, deserted landscape. Here the individual stands alone. The absence of emotional resonance creates a reliance on logic, a sterile approach to existence. This detachment forms the foundation of the psychological bridge. In this realm, decisions are made not from a place of moral consideration, but from a cold calculation of outcomes. The individual weighs the costs and benefits, the risk and reward, with a dispassionate precision that chills the soul. The bridge becomes a conduit for impulses that spring from deep-seated conflicts. The rational mind seeks to justify actions that the heart cannot comprehend. It's a paradox, where the individual grapples with the duality of existence. In one moment, they may appear to conform to societal expectations. In the next, they teeter on the edge of a precipice, driven by an unseen force that compels them toward the unthinkable. Through the lens of clinical observation, this psychological landscape reveals patterns. Individuals often rationalize their choices, cloaked in layers of self-deception. They might view their behavior as an experiment, a quest for understanding in a chaotic world. Yet the bridge remains fragile, its integrity tested by the weight of internal conflict. The individual oscillates between the desire to belong and the instinct to rebel against societal constraints. In the end, the psychological bridge is a solitary structure. It stands firm, a testament to the complexity of the human psyche. The journey across it is fraught with peril, an exploration of the darker corners of rationality. Those who tread this path are left to confront the consequences of their choices, navigating the delicate balance between reason and the abyss that lurks just beyond their grasp. In the quiet recesses of the mind, a battle rages. Two distinct entities vie for control. This is the essence of dual minds, a phenomenon often overlooked yet profoundly influential. The subject exists within a labyrinth of rationality and emotion, forging paths that lead to unthinkable choices. Consider the clinical case studies. Each profile reveals a complex interplay of genetics, environment, and psychological conditioning. When dissecting the mind of an antisocial profile, one encounters a tapestry woven with threads of past trauma and present manipulation. This intricate weave serves as both armor and weapon, shielding the individual while simultaneously propelling them toward erratic behavior. Take, for instance, the subject whose childhood was steeped in neglect. The absence of nurturing creates a void, a chasm filled with resentment and isolation. As the years unfold, this isolation morphs into a distorted perception of reality. The individual learns to navigate life with a cold logic, interpreting social cues through a lens of detachment. Here lies the invisible grip of dark rationality, rendering empathy a foreign concept. Biological evidence plays a pivotal role in understanding these dual minds. Neurological studies reveal anomalies in brain structure, particularly in areas responsible for impulse control and emotional regulation. The amygdala, the emotional core, can become hyperactive, while the prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational thought, may show signs of underactivity. This imbalance fuels a dangerous dichotomy, a mind that can calculate risks, yet fails to grasp the moral implications of those calculations. As the narrative deepens, one must confront the unsettling reality that this duality is not always a conscious choice. The subject may oscillate between clarity and confusion, logic and chaos. In moments of calculated decision-making, they may believe they are simply playing a game, manipulating the rules to their advantage. Yet, what unfolds is a tragic misalignment. The clinical detachment, once a protective mechanism, transforms into a prison of their own making. The case conclusion often eludes the untrained eye. The patterns of behavior do not reveal a straightforward narrative, but rather a series of complex interplays like notes in a haunting symphony. The subject becomes both composer and audience, orchestrating their own descent while remaining blissfully unaware of the discordance they create. In examining the depths of these dual minds, one must tread carefully. Each revelation is a mirror reflecting not just the darkness within the subject, but the fragility of the human condition itself. The invisible grip of dark rationality tightens, and with it, the haunting question remains: at what point does the mind become its own adversary? In the vast expanse of human behavior, the duality of the mind manifests in the most unexpected places. Across the globe, individuals with antisocial profiles operate beneath the surface, often cloaked in societal norms. Their rationality, twisted yet compelling, creates a chilling juxtaposition with the chaos they unleash. In Europe, a cold, calculating individual meticulously plans actions that seem innocuous at first glance. The streets hum with everyday life, yet a deeper pulse thrums beneath. Here, the clinical gaze of psychology examines the interplay of cultural factors and individual predispositions. The subject embodies a paradox, outwardly charming, inwardly driven by a relentless logic that defies moral constraints. In Asia, another narrative unfolds. The fabric of society weaves a complex tapestry of expectations and responsibilities. Yet, lurking within this structure is a mind that rationalizes its actions through a lens of superiority. The biological evidence, while silent, speaks volumes. Neurotransmitter imbalances may contribute to a skewed perception of empathy, allowing the individual to operate without the weight of remorse. Across the Atlantic, in the heart of North America, a different kind of rationality reigns. Here, the subject navigates a landscape shaped by ambition and isolation. The clinical understanding of dual minds becomes crucial. The interplay of environment and biology crafts a persona whose decisions are driven by a warped sense of justice. It's as if a dark logic dictates every move, leaving behind a trail of disconnection and disillusionment. In each region, the invisible grip of dark rationality manifests uniquely. The subjects embody a chilling certainty, their minds operating like finely tuned machines, devoid of the emotional turbulence that defines most. The clinical lens reveals that this detachment is not mere apathy. It is a calculated stance, a conscious choice to detach from the moral fabric of society. Yet, beneath this veneer lies a vulnerability. The very rationality that empowers them also creates an insatiable void. This paradox is the crux of their existence, a relentless chase for meaning within a framework of self-imposed isolation. As the world watches, oblivious to the inner workings of these minds, the narrative of duality continues to unfold. The global perspective on this phenomenon reveals a haunting truth. The capacity for such rationality exists within us all. It begs the question: what separates the majority from those who tread this delicate line? The answer, perhaps, lies in the fragile balance of morality and rationality, a dance as old as humanity itself. The courtroom stood silent, an arena of restrained tension. The air was thick with anticipation, each breath laden with the weight of unspoken truths. The judge, a figure draped in black robes, sat high above, the gavel poised like a sword, ready to descend. All eyes were trained on the subject, a complex individual whose mind danced between shadows and rationale. In the dim light, the prosecutor began to outline the case conclusion, weaving a tapestry of evidence and psychological profiles. The antisocial profile spoke volumes, a portrait of calculated detachment, yet behind the facade lay a labyrinth of inner turmoil. The prosecution's voice echoed, clinical and cold, dissecting the motivations behind actions that defied conventional understanding. As the words flowed, the defense leaned into the shadows, presenting an alternative narrative. They portrayed an individual ensnared by unseen forces, a puppet to an insidious grip of dark rationality. The argument spiraled into the complexities of human behavior, an intricate dance of nature versus nurture. The jury, a collective of 12, absorbed each detail, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and dread. Outside, the world continued, oblivious to the storm brewing within those walls. Inside, the atmosphere vibrated with the tension of unresolved questions, a haunting resonance of conflicting truths. The final verdict loomed like an impending storm, a moment that would crystallize the duality of human nature into stark clarity. The defense called upon expert testimony, a clinical psychologist who painted a picture of fractured realities. The mind is a vast ocean, she explained, with depths that often go unexplored. In this case, we see a confluence of genetic predisposition and environmental triggers. It's not merely a matter of guilt, it's a reflection of the human condition. Her words hung in the air, a somber reminder of the complexity lying beneath the surface. With each passing moment, the tension escalated. The jury retreated to deliberate, a microcosm of societal values and fears. What defines culpability? What is the measure of a life guided by forces beyond rational control? Each juror wrestled with the moral implications of their decision, the burden of judgment heavy on their shoulders. Finally, the door creaked open, the jury filing back with expressions etched in uncertainty. The verdict was delivered, a declaration that echoed through the courtroom like a tolling bell. In that moment, dual minds converged, the rational and the irrational, the observer and the observed. The final verdict was not merely a resolution, but a haunting reminder of the invisible grips that shape our understanding of humanity.